The sirens were so loud. They woke up the whole neighborhood. I stood next to our neighbors and hoped that the police would save my family.
It will be all right, Caroline.
Police, put your hands up. I didn't steal anything. I bought this popcorn at the dollar store.
What's going on? We got a call to this address. The caller said there are robbers in the house holding you hostage. We just fell asleep watching TV. Officer, can I put my hands down? Wait, where's Caroline?
I'm here. She came running to us in the middle of the night and said there were robbers in your house. The cops, our neighbors, and my parents all stared at me in surprise. I saw bad guys tie you all up.
Seems like Caroline had a bad dream. So can I put my hands down?
Hi, I'm Caroline. Dad was right. Back then, many years ago, I really did have a nightmare. My dreams had always been vivid. Sometimes, they were nice and funny. For example, Fluffy would suddenly turn into a real bunny and start talking to me. Do all toys come to life at night?
Only in your dreams, Caroline.
Sometimes, I find myself in a magical land of sweets. But sometimes, I had nightmares too. They were so realistic that I couldn't tell them from reality. That's what happened that night. I ran to our neighbors and asked them to call the police because robbers had broken into our house. What I hadn't realized was that it was just a dream. It was a wake-up call for my parents. The next morning, I had an appointment with a child psychologist. He talked to me for a long time and then invited my parents in.
Caroline doesn't have any mental disorders. She just has a wild imagination.
The psychologist's words reassured my parents. However, I soon had another nightmare, but I wasn't aware I was dreaming. In it, my dad, mom, and Buddy all turned into monsters with huge, bald heads. Their eyes were empty and their smiles were sinister. Mom was holding a syringe with some green liquid.
You're going to be one of us, Caroline.
No!
Follow me. I know a safe place.
I ran after Fluffy. We burst into my room, but found ourselves in a green meadow.
Over here, Caroline.
I crawled down the rabbit hole and fell asleep. When I woke up, I was lying under my bed. I must have hidden there in my sleep. I carefully came down to the kitchen. My family looked normal. I calmed down a bit and I thought I just had another nightmare. But then, good morning, sweetheart. I've made a healthy smoothie for you. A smoothie? Yeah, right. I was sure it was the liquid from that syringe. The monsters must have disguised themselves because it was daytime. At night, they would show their true faces again. I mumbled something and ran off to school. As soon as the lessons ended, I decided I would not go back home. I was too scared and wandered the streets until it got dark.
You're Caroline Summers, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am. Let's get you home. Do you know how worried your parents are? I didn't want to go and tried to run away, but the woman was stronger and faster than me. She brought me home. My parents and buddies still looked normal.
Caroline, enough is enough. We were worried out of our minds.
This is not my family. They're monsters. What? Are they hurting you? Officer, our daughter has a wild imagination and vivid dreams. Sometimes she can't tell what's real and what's not. The female cop tiredly contacted a dispatcher, and they confirmed that not that long ago, other police officers had responded to a false call because of me.
You should go to the Sleep Institute. They work with cases like this.
Will do. Thank you for bringing our daughter back. I kept expecting my parents to turn into monsters, like werewolves in horror movies. But then, I gave up and had to admit that I probably had another nightmare.
Promise you won't run away again.
I nodded. Mom and Dad tucked me into bed and left. I'd almost fallen asleep when the door to my room opened.
My first basketball game was today, but Mom and Dad didn't come because they spent the whole evening looking for their precious Caroline. I hate you!
He put a spider on my head and ran away. I screamed in horror. There were few things I feared more as a kid than spiders.
What happened?
Buddy, he put a spider on my head. I don't see any spiders. I shook it off. They ran to my brother's room. Buddy was lying in bed and acting like he had just woken up. Why would you do that to your sister? You know she's afraid of spiders.
Caroline must have had another dream. I'm so sick of this.
We're all tired of this. Caroline's dreams are a real pain. A couple of days later, Mom and Dad said we were going to the Sleep Institute.
You promised you'd come to the water park with me.
Hoping Caroline is more important right now.
Of course.
Caroline is always more important.
It was weird and dreary at the Sleep Institute. I immediately felt sleepy. It turned out that was exactly what they wanted. But before I could fall asleep, Dr. Millen attached some sensors to my head. While I was snoring softly, the doctor and my parents observed my brain activity. Then they sat me in a comfy chair.
I did not find any pathologies, but Caroline cannot distinguish dreams from reality. It's ruining our lives.
Dr. Millen took something out of a drawer and came over to me with a gentle smile.
Your brain creates amazing worlds. It's a gift. Find a way to channel it into something useful. This will help you. The next time you can't figure out if you're dreaming or not, shake the pendant. In reality, the ball inside, it will always fall down. But in your dreams, it will move in strange ways. This is your anchor.
My anchor. Thank you, Dr. Millen. When we got back home, I saw that all my dolls had their heads torn off. I knew who the executioner was. With each passing day, the chasm between my brother and me grew wider and soon resembled the Grand Canyon. Buddy was out of control. He kept skipping practice and fell in with a bad crowd that stole sweets from stores. Each time I snitched on him to our parents, Buddy shrugged innocently.
Caroline dreamed it all.
Mom and Dad believed him. I decided to follow Dr. Millen's advice and create new worlds in my head. I drew them and came up with whole plot lines. By the time I turned 16, I had a dream. I want to be the best music video director out there. My ultimate dream was to direct a music video for my favorite singer, Rezzy. Dude, you'd look great as a modern-day knight. I put together presentations, made storyboards, and sent them to artist managers. Of course, no one ever answered, but I didn't give up. Dreams were still trying to disrupt my reality like annoying Windows updates, but the pendant saved me. One day, I came to school dressed like a giant hot dog. Everyone laughed at me, even Dan, a senior with a smile that could stop global warming. I was in love with him.
Caroline, you look so dumb.
I was so embarrassed, I wanted to teleport into a vacuum cleaner. But then, I remembered about the pendant. I shook it, and the ball suddenly flew out of the pendant and turned into a butterfly. Phew, it's just a dream. It's fine. I can keep embarrassing myself. Soon, the morning came. The real morning. I came to school and saw Dan. The real Dan. And then I thought, could my dream be a sign that it was time to hit on him? I even practiced what I was going to say. If you were a music video, I would add you to my favorites. However, when I came up to Dan for real, I forgot how to talk. It was like my lips were super glued together. Then everyone in the hallway heard a commotion. It turned out that Buddy had gotten into a fight with a classmate of his. Our parents were called to the school.
One more stunt like this, and your son will be expelled.
Well, Buddy, did I dream that too? At home, my brother got the scolding of a lifetime.
You were a promising athlete, and now you're slipping at the speed of light. What's it to you? You've only ever cared about Caroline.
A strange sound woke me up that night. At first, I thought I was dreaming again, and a flying shark or a talking cabinet would appear at any moment. However, when I peeked out of my room, I saw my brother sneaking downstairs. I was faced with a choice, to wake up our parents or to pretend I hadn't seen anything. I chose the second option because Buddy would have said I dreamt it all again, and then he would have got back at me, so I thought, thanks, and went back to bed. In the morning, I came to regret my decision. It turned out that my brother had stolen our father's car and crashed into a storefront. Buddy was fine, but our family budget was not. Our parents had to spend all their savings to pay for the damages. Buddy already had a police record. As a result, he was sent to juvie for a year. It wasn't a nightmare. It was our reality, as terrible as a Monday morning. Ever since then, my life was like a nightmare I could not wake up from. Mom and Dad were fighting every day.
Where are you going? For a run, away from you. You always run away from your problems. And you blame everyone but yourself.
One day, I saw Dad sitting in a cafe with a beautiful woman. That hurt, but I didn't tell Mom anything. She found out anyway.
You smell like a woman's perfume. I was at a business dinner with a colleague.
Everything was falling apart. I couldn't keep what was left of my family together all by myself. All the stress made me feel like a broken robot. My head was buzzing, my mind mind was in the daze, and my dreams were getting meaner. One day, I was scrolling through social media in class when I saw that Rezi had released a new music video. I stood up indignantly. I came up with this idea. Rezi and his manager stole it. Yeah, right. And I filmed the Titanic.
And I wrote Harry Potter.
You jerks! Come on, show me it's just a dream. I want to wake up. But the ball kept dropping down, and that meant it was all real.
Hey, are you okay?
I am, but words suddenly poured out of me like water from a broken faucet. I told Dan everything. I needed to get things off my chest.
You know, my grandmother always says, even the darkest nights come to an end. My friend is throwing a party tonight. It's only for seniors, but consider yourself invited.
It felt like he put a band-aid on my heart. Things were looking up. I spent several hours spinning in front of a mirror. After all, I was sure that Dan invited me because he liked me. But then I saw Dan kiss another girl at the party. Who is that?
My girlfriend, Norma.
Your girlfriend? But I thought...
Caroline, you're sweet, but you're too young for me. I invited you because I felt sorry for you.
So you think I'm pathetic? Pain suddenly pierced through my head. I grabbed the wall to steady myself.
Caroline, are you sick? I'm calling an ambulance.
Everything after that was a blur. I was brought to a hospital and examined. They called my parents, and a doctor told us what happened.
We found a small tumor in the parietal lobe of Caroline's brain.
That was the reason for my vivid nightmares, and that was why I've been feeling like a rotten pumpkin lately. Oh God, what's the prognosis?
We have a great neurosurgeon. He will perform a surgery and Caroline will be able to return to normal life.
Will you have to cut my hair?
I'm afraid so, but it will grow back quickly. Your health is much more important.
The doctor left so that my parents and I could talk about the surgery. However, Mom and Dad decided it was the perfect time to have another fight.
Surgery is too risky. I'm against it.
You're only thinking about yourself.
Shut up. No, you shut up.
Shut up, both of you. This is my life, and I want to have the surgery. Of course, I was scared, but it was worth it. After all, when I woke up, my life instantly got better, like someone had used a magic wand. Mom and Dad stopped fighting and remembered that they used to love each other.
The hard times have brought us together.
The doctor said cutting your hair wasn't necessary after all.
Great. I feel amazing. I was soon discharged from the hospital. Then Buddy came home. He was released early for good behavior.
Sorry, sis. I thought you were pretending because you wanted attention. I'm the one who's been selfish, not you.
And then Dan brought me flowers.
Caroline, you're so strong and real. Will you be my girlfriend?
Holy cookies! We became an item. Just when I thought life couldn't get any better, we got a new neighbor. It was a guy. He hid his face under a cap, but one day I accidentally hit him with my bike and the cap fell off his head. Rezi? Why would a famous singer move in here?
Please, don't tell anyone. I'm here incognito. I just want to take a break from fame.
First, you steal my idea for your music video, and now you're asking me for a favor?
What are you talking about?
I wanted to bite him, but then I took a deep breath and explained everything to him.
My manager did it behind my back. I'll fire him. Do you want to direct my next music video?
Of course I do. I've got a million ideas. I was so happy I could hardly breathe. But then I saw a bunny and it ran past us and hid in a burrow. Something's wrong. Everything is too good. I took my pendant and shook it. The ball inside froze in the air and I realized that I was dreaming. Everything that happened after the surgery hadn't been real. My brain has created another reality in my head. I need to wake up.
Why? Don't you like it here?
Everything here is perfect, but I need to get back to reality no matter how complicated things get there. I squeezed my eyes shut as hard as I could and woke up in a hospital ward. My exhausted parents were asleep by my bedside. Something beeped and a doctor came immediately. He said that the surgery had been successful, but I hadn't woken up from the anesthesia and had been in a coma for several days.
Oh, Caroline, we were so afraid of losing you.
I was discharged a few weeks later. My hair had grown a bit by then, and life went back to normal. In reality, my parents' relationship didn't magically improve. They went to a couples counselor and put in a lot of effort. Buddy was still in jail, but one day, he sent me a letter and apologized. Dan kept dating Norma, but we sometimes chatted.
How are you feeling?
Much better. My head doesn't hurt anymore, and I don't have any nightmares either.
You're wonderful. One day, someone will definitely fall for you.
By the way, I watched Rezi's music video again and realized that its concept was similar to mine, but that was it. Rezi hadn't stolen anything. I don't think his manager even read my emails. But I was determined to become a famous music video director anyway. And then we got new neighbors. They had a son. Some guy in a cap? My heart skipped a beat. Could it be? But then the cap fell off his head, and I saw that he was just an ordinary guy. Hello, are you new in town?
Yeah. Do you know what's the best pizza around here?
I'll show you around. Even if real life is not perfect, it's mine, and I'm going to shine.